Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this presentation. I'd like to tell you a story about a patient that reminded me of a phenomenon that I see very frequently, which I'll call it drifting into midlife. So by drifting into midlife, I mean that in most cases, people aren't really planning to experience midlife, and they aren't planning for midlife. They're kind of just letting life happen. And then all of a sudden they wake up one day and they have drifted into midlife. They're already in the middle of it, and they don't like how they feel, and they don't like how they look. And in this particular story, this patient was asking me, she said that she'd been skinny all of her life, and now that she was in midlife, I won't say how old she was, she had started to gain fat around her middle. Now, she still looked a lot thinner than most people, but for her, it was a big change. And she was worried, was this going to continue? And I told her, yes, it was. And the reason I knew that it was is because I knew how she usually ate. And the way she usually ate was what I would call high glycemic eating. She'd been blessed with a metabolism that allowed her to soak up the high glycemic foods without getting fat for a long time, but it had finally caught up with her. And the way that this happens is that eating the high glycemic foods, which are foods that raise the blood sugar quickly and cause insulin spikes and blood sugar spikes over and over again, eventually twist and distort our body's chemistry so that we move into fat storage chemistry. And that's what happens in midlife for the majority of people in the United States at this point because of how they eat and how they don't exercise enough. So we talked about how simple it would be if she would make a couple of shifts in her eating, which involved cutting out the high glycemic foods. So what are the high glycemic foods for most people? Grains, potatoes, rice, sugar. And so cutting them out for several months, 9 months I usually recommend for people, will allow the body to repair itself. And then you can start to have some of those foods without breaking the body's chemistry again. But the point is that it is fixable. And what happens is that even though people drift into this level of deconditioning and broken chemistry, it is possible to fix it. And if you're in that state, or you're drifting into that state, then it's a simple fix if you're willing to do the simple things. I didn't say it's an easy fix because it involves changing some of your habits, but it is a simple fix. Now, if you're pre-midlife, then taking a proactive approach is obviously a whole lot better than trying to fix something. It's like staying away from breaking your leg and then having to get it fixed versus having a broken leg and having to get it fixed. So if you prevent the broken leg, that's always going to be a lot better. And so preventing the broken chemistry, if you're still in pre-midlife, then this is the time to do it. And what does it involve? Of course, eating low glycemic and exercising on a regular basis. Those two things will go a long ways towards preventing the bad and broken chemistry associated with the metabolic syndrome, and which is one of the most common abnormalities that people in midlife in the United States experience. So if you're in the middle of this drift, it's easy to fix, not simple to fix, easy to fix. And I have a lot of other resources that show you how to fix it. So that's beyond the scope of this particular video. I wish you well. God bless, and have a great day.